All right. Hello, hi everyone. Today is August 2nd, so let's analyze how BTC and ETH will move in today's trend and see if we can open any long or short positions. All right, today we'll take a look at how the market is doing. Today is August 2nd, so let's see how the daily candle closes. Here, let's look at today, August 2nd, when BTC closes the daily candle. BTC's daily candle closed as a doji, which signals a trend reversal. We can see that previously, our BTC had a very strong bearish candle with quite a lot of momentum. However, today it closed with a rather small candle, right? The small body of the candle indicates a trend reversal. It's almost like a doji that signals a reversal. Will it be able to go up further, or will it go down to test this deeper zone? So let's analyze it together and see what happens. With a candle like this is a type of doji that signals a trend reversal. However, there is still no sign confirming that BTC is likely to go up. Do you understand? At the same time, let's take a look at USDTD to see how it's doing. Looking at USDTD, we can see that it has moved up to the resistance zone at 8.6, and today it's still closed with a green candle. With this green candle, the candle body is quite small, right? It touched the resistance line and the price reacted by dropping down quite deeply. All right, now let's move on to the H4 chart of USDTD to see how the market share is continuing. Earlier, I drew the Elliott wave for you guys here. Previously, we drew an Elliott wave with the impulse wave, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, right? So for our wave 3, it needs to reach around 8.8% to complete this wave structure. But here on the H4 chart, we can see this area is a resistance zone. We had a fake breakout here, breaking above one peak. This is the second peak, then the third, fourth, and fifth peaks. So we can see there are 5 peaks on the H4 chart of USDTD. So here it's clear that there is a pretty strong resistance, and with such a strong resistance, there's a high probability it will trigger a price reaction. However, we still expect it to continue rising to the 8.8 area to complete this impulse wave structure of ours. And with USDTD this morning, what kind of candle did the H4 close with? It closed with a red candle, and on the daily candle, it's still a green candle. So what do we expect, everyone? I still continue to expect that USDTD will keep testing the 8.5% area. Yesterday, I shared with everyone that BTC could possibly rise to the 63.6K to 63.8K area, right? It had just completed its structure. However, it couldn't go up, and yesterday it only managed to rebound to around 63.2K before dropping back to the 62,300 area. But here, I still believe that if we follow its wave structure, we can see that it hasn't moved enough yet. At this peak, it's already enough. At the 65,400 area, that's sufficient. But I think this bottom isn't enough yet. For this bottom, my take profit should still be somewhere around 61K to 61.8K. That's been my view for quite a few days now. And this morning, we saw that on the daily candle, BTC closed with a doji reversal candle. And I think that this still isn't the bottom for BTC in the 62K, 62.3K area, right? It's still not the bottom yet. I still expect that its bottom, if this wave 4 and 5 complete, should drop somewhere around 61.8K to 61K. And this morning, I think there's a high chance BTC will continue to go up, meaning for USDTD, I'm still expecting it to drop to around 8.5%. Regarding the so-called peak zones like this is the support zone at around 8.5%, and it could even go a bit deeper to 8.48%. So if it drops to that level, I still expect BTC to continue rising to 63.5 thousand or even 63.8 thousand. But if we call this its peak, it doesn't seem quite right yet, meaning it still doesn't have enough momentum. I think that this current wave of its movement, of course, on the H1 chart, seeing lower highs and lower lows is normal, right? So this morning, I still expect that the next peak when it rebounds upward. That is, if from here, from this point, it drops straight down to the 61 or 61.5 zone, it wouldn't make sense. I think it still has to go up somewhere around the 63.5 to 63.8 area. In the 63.5 to 63.8 zone, I think that's where it will rise to, and then it will continue to drop. Yesterday, I analyzed for everyone that if this is the peak here, then it seems a bit short and small, and it's not strong enough yet, right? So if it wants to drop further, I think it's highly likely that it will rebound somewhere around 63.5 to 63.8 first. In that area, it will continue to fluctuate and then drop further down to the 62, 61.8 or 61 region. So I still expect that the 61 and 61.8 region is where it will head to in the future. That's for BTC. And as we can see on the H1 time frame, the structure of USDTD still hasn't changed. It's still making higher highs and higher lows. And of course, during its upward movement, it will create waves on smaller time frames like H1 or M30 moving up and down. Yesterday in this area, I expected it to reach 8.5%, but it didn't quite get to 8.5%. It only reached 8.538%. So yesterday, our BTC went up to around 63,200, almost 63,300, right? That means it fell short of my expectation by a few $100s. But I still believe that this area isn't enough yet, meaning this peak isn't sufficient, so it needs to pull back to around 8.5% and then continue to fluctuate upwards to 8.8%. If USDTD drops to 8.5%, then our BTC can reach 63,500 to 63,800. That's the area where it will continue to drop to form a lower high down here. So for now, we just have to wait. This morning, I still haven't placed any orders. I'm still waiting to see where a good entry might be. It's likely that I'll only open a position and observe when it reaches the 63,500 or 63,800 area. That is this area here at this bottom area around 63,500. So if it goes up here and forms a reversal candlestick pattern on the H1 time frame, I'll open a position and continue to take profit at 61,000 and 61,800. As for USDTD, it's still moving toward the area I expected. I think this still isn't enough. It needs to go down further and then move up again to the 8.8% area. That's USDT and BTC. What about ETH? Yesterday, I analyzed ETH with everyone and said that if ETH can hold well at the 1,860 area, there's a high chance it will surge strongly to the 2,000 area or even up to 2,040. But as we saw yesterday, ETH experienced a very strong sell-off. We saw it drop with a pretty strong candle and ETH fell back to 1,823. You all can see that, right? And it retested this area. It retested exactly this resistance zone. If we draw it from here across, it's around 1,820, right? So there will be a resistance zone right here. When it reached the resistance, it created a price reaction at this spot. And if we look closely on the H1 time frame, this area still hasn't been broken yet. That is the area around 1,860, from 1,850 to 1,860. This is what's called its support zone, and it still hasn't been broken. And here there's a very strong long candle going down with the candle body closing below this zone, but it's just one candle. So it's still considered a false breakout. And after this candle formed, it continued to go up with quite a few green candles. For me, a real breakout needs at least 2 red candles breaking out of this support zone. But here, there's only one. So what do we see here? This ETH still hasn't broken through this zone. It's just a false breakout, and most likely we need to keep watching. Yes, now if BTC continues to move up to the 63,500 or 63,800 zone, then clearly this ETH will also keep moving up to 1,878. That means ETH will go up to retest the 1,878 zone. But as we can see on the H1 chart, ETH seems to be losing momentum, meaning its upward strength doesn't look strong. It's forming a structure with lower highs. With this lower high structure, we need to pay attention, everyone. It's possible that soon ETH will drop to 1,800 and 1,760, 1,720, just as we analyzed yesterday. Here, I can see that although this area hasn't been broken yet, that is 1,860 hasn't been broken, it doesn't mean that it can't be broken in the future. And with such a strong sell-off like yesterday's on ETH, this support zone here is gradually weakening, becoming more fragile. I think it will eventually break because on the H1 time frame, it's already forming a lower high, lower low structure. But on the H4 time frame, we can see that it still hasn't broken this area yet. This area is still quite a strong support zone for it. Yeah, so let's keep an eye on it. As for ETH at this moment, its structure is temporarily forming highs and lows. This could be considered a low, maybe a lower high here. but the lows haven't been getting lower yet. So with ETH, we need to keep watching this area. If it really breaks this area, then we can consider a short position. But if it doesn't really break, it could still continue to move up and retest this upper area, which is 1,930. And the nearest level we'll see is 1,890. So we need to keep an eye on ETH. So this morning, if Bitcoin rebounds a bit, ETH will likely follow along. So it's likely because I see that BTC still doesn't have enough conditions to drop immediately. It needs to rebound to the 63,500 area before it falls. So ETH could rebound to somewhere around 1,870 or 1,875, right? Either 1,890 or 1,930. Everyone, keep an eye on it. So that's my analysis of BTC and ETH for this morning. If you find this helpful, please click the notification bell and subscribe to the channel to receive new videos every day.